press record now. So let's do this. This is going to be interesting. So fly as me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep playing it, and I'm going to keep playing this, and I'm just going to go through it one technique at a time, exactly as shown in week 1 of the polymath producer system. And let's see what we do. We'll look for instruments first, and I can talk through my process and everything. And yeah, let's get started.
1, 2, make you wanna. Okay, now have you ever been with a player? Take you downtown where they treat me like the mayor. Take you to the crib where you take it upstairs. What's upstairs? Shit, I'ma show you later. Don't need a spatula, everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your mashed potatoes. I'm trying to love you. Is you gonna love me back? You only get what you give. Ain't you heard of that? Look here, I don't ask for much. You know what I want. I just want what's fair. Now Silk Sonic smooth like a mat, float like a butterfly on every single track. And the only language that I speak, girl, is spec. So once I give this game to you, I can't take it back. Hollering at you from a 1977 Monte Carlo. Hard act to follow. It's showtime, trying to boo you up like it's the Apollo. Your walk is vicious. Let's get down to business. You and me together. Woo, that's something different. Ooh, come on. I don't ask for much. I really don't, girl. I just want what's fair.
Wow. Okay. So what I did there was I was just trying to basically write down as many. Yeah, it's a phenomenal track. I was trying to write down as many instruments that I heard off the bat, trying to get everything that I hear in the field down onto the page, just so I can see like an overview of all the different instruments and elements in the spatial principle. So in week 3, the spatial principle, if you picture in your mind, visualize a rectangle, and then the depth of the rectangle as well. So I'm with my eyes closed, I'm listening for all the instruments. And I think I got the majority of them. There's probably some that I missed. And if you can see there, if you guys heard any instruments that I didn't write down, please let me know, because I think I got the bulk of them, but yeah, just if you write down in the chat section if you see any that I didn't get. But I've already heard a lot of techniques that I think are really cool that they're using, because the thing about this track is that I noticed that it was what reeled me into it was the way it made me feel. It wasn't. It was making me groove effortlessly. So one of the things that I noticed about this track is the open hats and how they're used to make that bouncy feel in the track. But what I'll do is I'll play it again. Cowbell and tambourine. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna add those in. Thanks, Matt. I'll just I'm gonna play maybe just half of it again just to do one last check over anything else. But I'm pretty sure
1, 2, make you wanna.
if you listen to the start, you can almost hear a little bit of vinyl crackle as well. It's very subtle, but I don't know whether that was to get that old school feel, or whether it was recorded on tape. I'm not actually sure, but there is a little bit of vinyl crackle there, or tape sound. I'll just put tape sound, which is especially because this is drawing from old school tracks. It's very, very common to kind of put something like that in, or record it like that. So let's have a look. Now, there's a very interesting sound there that kind of ends on the when it swells. There's a sound that I think it's a guitar that plays like a twangy like that. So I'm going to add in electric guitars double in the bass line, but also electric guitars playing like extra sounds like twangs and stuff, just to add that in. Okay, let's concentrate on the intro right now. So there's a lot happening in this intro that I think is really cool. Especially the section. So if you have a look at the contrast, where they're using the energy principle here very well. So they've got the contrast between the bass riff and the percussion, and then it goes into a section that's more pad based. So you have the brass section doing pads. So they're holding notes as a like whatever it is, like a quartet or something. They're holding a pad laid with an organ, what it sounds like, as well as laid with the guitar twang and probably other stuff. Let's have a listen.
1, 2, make you wanna.
So right there, right on the entrance of the song, you've got a twang hit that's like, it sounds like a cowbell or like some sort of weird percussion instrument on the entrance. And the cool thing about this is, I'm going to put here, entrance twang sound, a unique sound on the entrance of the song. What you'll notice with a lot of top level productions is that when they have a chance to, it could be, yeah, it's probably a triangle. It's so obvious. It's right in my face, and it's just like a flexitone. Okay, let's write that down. Triangle flexitone. What's very cool about productions like this is that when they have a chance to use a unique sound, especially in a part like this where the vocals aren't in it, a lot of the time they'll do that to make the track sound unique. So if you've noticed, even just in the intro, they've got that sound at the start on the entrance hit of the beat, like after when it first comes in. Then you've got that twangy sound of the guitar at the end of the intro leading into the verse. Now, have a look at the play of energy here. So in the intro, you've got the bass playing the bass riff, which is a really catchy bass riff. That's doubled with what sounds like an electric guitar line an octave higher. And that's thickening up the stereo field by like octaves. And I think a lot of the time in these sorts of productions, they will double the guitar line panned left and right, so that you've got the bass in the center and then left and right with the electric guitar line. And they're doubling the same riff. Now, what's interesting about this song is that later on in the chorus, when we get to that, you'll actually hear that the hook of the song, the vocal hook of the song, the primary hook, fly as me, da-da, as fly as me, like that. That's actually doubling the guitar and bass riff as well. So the vocal, guitar riff, and the bass all play the same thing, stacked as the main hook in the chorus line. But we'll get to that in a second. But that is interdependence principle to a T. Like that's everything is lined up and working as one single instrument. It sounds like the track is one instrument at that point. But let's just stick to the intro and have a look at the flow of energy that goes through it, because they're moving between that beat that's a little bit more sparse. It's like more minimalistic. It's just a beat. The riff sounds really cool. It gets a bit funky. They're introducing the lead. It's really the primary hook, but when the vocal's in, the vocal takes over the primary hook. So it's the primary hook when the vocal isn't there, and then when the vocal is there, it's the secondary hook, and then they combine as one in the chorus. So you've got the secondary / lead hook instrumental in the intro, and then when you get to the end of that intro, they do the pad section, which swells the energy up, and you can feel it. It feels groovy. Then the pads come in, it'll groove, it'll smooth out the intro, build it up like a swell, and then you hit back into the verse, and then they revert back to the beat, the minimalistic beat, which then gets that groove back in. So they're playing with the energy. Just have a listen to this. It's really cool. Teasing. Minimalistic beat. Wow.
Okay. Now, have you ever been?
So many things they've done here. So if you can notice in that swell section, they've actually laid multiple instruments up, and they've even put in a sub now. So subs, very useful to extend the range of the frequency spectrum in certain sections to increase energy. And they've done that. So they've actually got just the kick drum and the regular bass during that minimalistic part. But then when you go into that pad section, the sub bass comes in to really open up that frequency spectrum and make the energy feel like it's getting larger and swelling. Let's have a look at the instruments that they use for that swell section. So I think that sub is actually... Okay, amazing. Double bass. So they've actually used a sub that's sustained. If you can hear that, it just holds the note. And then an octave above it, they've actually got the bass doing a riff. So actually playing with the different bass octaves it's just, I love it when songs do this stuff. You'll notice that a lot of modern songs do this. So you've got the bass riff that's kind of playing these fills, almost these riffs an octave higher, and then the sub is maintaining that low end swell. And you've got the brass section playing a pad as well, which is probably just like 3 to 4 notes sustained swelling upwards. So it's like a sforzando. If you're on your MIDI, if you use MIDI before you get a real brass section to do it, it's almost like a sforzando sort of like swell thing. They've also got the organ and the twangy sound doubling all of that. And with all of that, they've also got the drums playing the beat with that. But if you notice, what's very interesting about the drums in this swell section, very subtle difference, but in the opening section, you've got the closed hat doing an offbeat, closed hat. On the pad section, they've actually switched that to an open hat. Now, this is so subtle. Yeah, so subtle. But the open hat almost creates this feeling of more of a bounce. And it's almost like they've done that because the pad section has come in and it feels sustained. It's almost like they've done that to just emphasize that section a little bit more, just to make sure the groove maintains that bounce while the pad is in there. And musically speaking, it's interesting that they've actually used that pad section once, almost like a tease. It teases the audience into thinking that the verse is about to start. Then they actually go back into the beat again, and then it moves into another section where it does the pad again, but then they actually double the length of that section again, which then creates even more anticipation. So you can really see how they're using the energy principle here. It's really like a roller coaster. Like it's building the suspense right before that lead vocal comes in, because people are just waiting for that lead vocal. So you've got that first swell, and then listen to the next one that comes in. Pad, swells. Okay. This, because it's held a little bit longer, you've got the brass doing a motif now. Okay, they're actually playing notes that kind of have a little hook to them. Now, especially in modern day production, everything is pretty much a hook. So you can hear how that's happened. I see if it's okay. So the brass isn't doing a pad in the second section, I don't think, but they are doing the motive. But the organ is still doing it. And if you can listen in the background, that guitar that does the kind of twangy sound is doing the same sort of, it sounds like it's looped over, like almost creating this pad-like sound with the guitar. And the vocal comes in going like a hey, hey sound on the offbeat to create that bounce again.
Okay. Now, have you ever been with a...
Now, am I missing anything here?
Okay. Now, have you...
It's like a little bit of a crash sort of thing on those ones as well, just to like add a little bit more intensity. I think it's a crash, or maybe it's the tambourine that Matt mentioned. But what's interesting is that at the end of this intro, you'll notice that they actually play with the energy again, because they have that big build, and then the brass do the motive. Right at the end of that intro section, they've got the interdependence principle working in their favor again. So they've layered the brass section as well as many other instruments all in a row, and they're doing like staccato type hits It's like dun 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 like that.
Okay. Now have you? Yeah. Okay. Now have you ever been?
Dun dun dun. Now, a lot of classic songs do this approach, and because this song is definitely drawn from classics, in terms of like inspiration. That's like an announcement. It's almost like we're about to enter the verse now. It's telling the audience, boom, 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 we're about to get into the verse. They've used the interdependence principle because everything flows as one. If you can listen to the instrumentation.
Okay.
So you've got the bass doing dun, 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 like that. And then the brass are going dun, dun, dun. And the guitar is probably doing the same thing as well. But yeah, very cool stuff. How's this coming along, by the way? Like, are you guys enjoying just me riffing off the bat? Like, yeah, is that all good? Like, if anyone wants to say anything or anything like that, just let me know. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's just from the intro you can see that like they're really in line with all of the core principles that are in week 3 of the polymath producer system. Like, they're using interdependence principle. Everything feels like one unit. And in terms of their energy, they know how to work the audience by using particular tools and techniques to make that happen. So I think the key takeaways from this intro section is using like percussion, minimalist percussion and groove, but then moving into pad sections to build intensity, and then using that contrast to move the energy in your favor, and then widening the sonic spectrum when you need to add and remove particular like energetic like sections. And then obviously the big finale of that intro is that aligned hit that they do, which basically is the announcement. It's almost like if you think back in, I don't know, medieval times when they would announce the royalty or the king coming through in the castle, and the people would play the trumpets, and it's just like, we're about to hear the king right now. And that's, I don't know whether they were doing that on purpose, but it's pretty much like that, because then they start to roll in and they start to sing. So what I think is very cool with this song in particular is the way that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak use rhythm with their vocals to create like interest in the melody line. So if you actually listen to this entrance bit into the verse, I just think it's so cool, the way that he's delivering his words.
Yeah. Okay. Now have you ever been with a player?
It's like just the rhythm of how he's done it is an instrument itself. It's a percussive. It almost sounds like a percussive instrument in itself, which, when it comes to a song like this, it is kind of like rap. Like, they are rapping a little bit in it as well as singing. So you'll obviously find that in hip hop and a lot of that, or hip hop influence tracks, they'll use the voice not only as a vocal but also as a rhythmic instrument. And I just think it's really cool how they've done that in this track.
You downtown where they treat me like the main. Take you to the crib where you take it upstairs. What's upstairs? Shit, I'ma show you later. Don't need a spatula, everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your mashed potatoes. I'm trying to love. Is you gonna love me back? You only get what you give. Ain't you heard of that?
Okay, so if you listen to the instrumental in verse 1, it's pretty much that consistent groove. They've got the riff. They've established the riff now. And so verse 1 is really just really sinking that into the audience, like just repeating that riff so that the audience feels like, okay, this is familiar. I know this groove, but now there's a new piece in the track, which is the vocal. And now they can put their attention towards the vocal. And that's where their attention will be at this point. So even though the riff is still there and it was the lead hook at the start, it's now more a secondary hook. So people are listening to the vocal mainly, but then every now and then in between vocals, they'll move back into the riff, then back up to the vocal. And then when it comes to the hidden hooks, those are pretty much the ones that are repeated from the intro, which is like that guitar twang and all that stuff. So just have a
Like
listen.
the main, take you to the crib when you take it upstairs. What's upstairs? Shit, I'ma show you later. Don't need a spatula, everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your mashed potatoes. I'm trying to love. Is you gonna love me back? Yeah.
And it looks like they've added a crash as well to the sections that go into the pad. So it's interesting how they've done that. So they've actually used the same beat pretty much as the intro, but then they started to add just little elements here and there just to progress the energy a little bit more.
Get what you get, ain't you right? Don't need a spatula, everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your mashed potatoes. I'm trying to love. Is you gonna love me back? You only get what you get, ain't you heard of that? Look here.
Okay, so what's cool about this as well is that they've used the bass instrument as the instrument that kind of moves up into the, like, kind of leads the instrumental into the next section, which is the pre-chorus. So have a listen to this bass.
Mashed potatoes, I'm trying to love. Is you gonna love me back? You only get what you get, ain't you heard of that?
And then obviously the drums as well start to become a little bit more active in the open hat, and then the toms deliver that next section in line with the bass as well. Let's see if they actually flow together.
Ain't you heard of that? You only get what you get, ain't you heard of that? You only get what you get, ain't you heard of that? Look here. Is you gonna love me back? You only get what you get, ain't you heard of that? Look here.
Yeah, so it almost feels like the bass and the kick and the tom flow as one, which core rhythm principle number 3 in week 3, the core rhythm. So like the bass and the kick and the snare / claps that kind of feel like they're stereo as well, definitely flowing as one in this track.
I don't ask for much, let everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your mashed potatoes. I'm trying to love. Is you gonna love me back? You only get what you get, ain't you heard of that? Look here. I don't ask for much. You know what I want. I just want what's fair.
Okay, classic Bruno Mars type of stuff. Call and response principle. Okay, he's using that right now. So he's got his call, which is his lead vocal, and then he's got the pack vocals in the background doing the response in this section. So this is the pre-chorus call and response section, which is used in a lot of Bruno Mars songs.
Look here. I don't ask for much. You know what I want. I just want what's fair.
Sorry, that was my bad. It's actually the instrumental that's doing the call, and then the pack vocals doing the response. So that riff.
Much. You know what I want. I just want what's fair. I'll bring that fire and desire, baby. All you gotta do is meet me halfway there.
So this is actually really cool. They've used the instrumental riff as the lead hook in this section, and then it moves to which is the call. Then the response is the pack vocal, which is what everyone can sing along with when they're on the dance floor. I'm assuming this would probably be made for like a dance floor situation. So I think that's really cool that they've done that. They've really tried to include a section where the audience can sing along with it and get involved with this track.
Look here. I don't ask for much. You know what I want. I just want what's fair. I'll bring that fire and desire, baby. All you gotta do is.
And if you've noticed that the drums actually stay pretty consistent in terms of the core rhythm, the main beat, but there's a lot more high end percussion that's in this section that's filling out the frequency spectrum. But in terms of the bass, this is what creates the contrast and the interest in this section, I think, is the bass riff is only happening on the instrumental section. And then when the vocals come in, when the pack vocals come in, the bass comes out of the track and you're only left with the kick drum and the drums playing with the pack vocals. I'm just going to have a quick drink now. Hold on a second.
I don't ask for much. You know what I want. I just want what's fair. I'll bring that fire and desire, baby.
So what this is probably the effect that this is probably creating in the audience is, especially on a dance floor, the kick drum is really going to be punching through on those sections when the pack vocals are there. And then when the bass line comes back in with the instrumental, it's going to really hit the audience, especially on the dance floor. So they'll be dancing, that instrumental will happen. It'll feel like this big impact because when the bass is in, it will just rumble the dance floor. And then when that gets pulled out, it almost gives the audience permission to join the pack vocal and sing with Bruno Mars. That's the impression that I'm getting anyway. I don't know whether that was actually what they were trying to do, but that's kind of how I would probably feel when it was happening. Okay. Moving into the next section, you can see they've used that same thing that they did in the intro before the first verse. They've actually done that thing where they line everything up, boom, boom, hit you in the face with brass hits, bass hit, and probably guitar hit, all lined up, all playing the same thing. Don't, like that. It's like, this is a new section. Pay attention, because you're about to be hit by chorus goodness. All you gotta do is meet me halfway there. And I love how they've layered that with Bruno Mars doing his high voice, meet me there, yelling, like basically yelling to the audience, meet me there. And then they're about to deliver the chorus. Let's see if I missed anything else there. All you gotta do is meet me halfway there. Oh, okay. Drum fill on the snare, and then right before the chorus hits, there's almost like a tom hit. Well, there's a tom fill, then there's a hit with the drums, and it's laid with vocals, pack vocals saying ooh, like that. Very classic. It's classic Bruno Mars stuff as well, because he uses that a lot in his classic example is the Locked Out of Heaven, when they literally have the pack vocals going, doing that sound as part of one of the hooks. So if you listen very carefully, like that with the percussion, which is really cool too, because everything just falls out. All the instrumental falls out, and then you've just got that percussive hit with that pack vocal hit, which it almost creates this vacuum effect where the energy sucks in, like that, and then it goes boom, kicks back in again in that chorus. Because you've just had this huge swell of energy. You've got the high end really hitting right there. You've got like cymbals and stuff. It's all happening in the high end. And then when that falls out, it's just like, you're just left with like silence and then this hit. Okay, so if you notice in the chorus, they've actually used a lot of the same riff, same instrumentation as the intro. It was all introduced at the start of the song, and now they're looping that throughout the track, and repurposing principle at play right here. Like they're repurposing a lot of the stuff that they've already introduced, and now it's more of a case of like introducing new melodic elements in the vocals and developing the song itself over that beat. But in terms of instrumentation, there's not as much getting introduced right now. Let's just have another listen.
You deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, don't let them me deserve to fly, baby. All you gotta do is meet me halfway there. I deserve to be with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. And you deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, don't let them trick you with the guitar.
Okay, so what's interesting is this is the question. Is there harmonic variation in that second time they say me? Because I kind of feel like there might be this. It's kind of with the vocals on it now, it's making me think that when they sing the me, what's really cool about it is that on that word me, it really stacks up and create it moves into that pad section. So it's really impactful when they say me, as fly as me, it goes boom, everything stacks up. There's more sub in the second half. Okay, let's have a listen.
And you deserve to be with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. And you deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, don't let them trick you with the guitar.
Yeah, there definitely is. I think more bass in that second half, and yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like it sounds like the harmony shifts in that second chord, and I don't know. I only noticed that when the vocal was on it, which is very interesting. So yeah, I just thought it was really cool. But if you notice in the vocals as well, they've got everything stacked. So I'm pretty sure they've got octaves. So they've got one that's like a lower octave. Then you've got a lead vocal that's a higher. You've got them panned left and right. You've got packs of people singing, and they're really stacking up that chorus and making it more stereo, I think, because a lot of the time in the choruses, especially modern tracks, they'll make the chorus more stereo.
With somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, don't let them trick you with the guitar. Okay, now Silk.
And then as you get into that transition, the brass section is actually playing its usual riff that it does in the intro, which is the transition riff. And then you've got one of the singers like basically screaming in the background, which this is used in a lot of classic songs as well. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like it's very classic sounding, because I've heard in a lot of classic songs, the singers use that scream as a transitional tool. It's almost like when dance music people use white noise to make a transition. Back in the day, you didn't really have that, like in the 60s and stuff. So you would just use like either a crash, or you would use a scream in this case, or some other instrument. So I mean, the Beatles use it. That classic case with the Beatles, it's like Hold My Hand, dun, 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 and then they start screaming and like do the octave thing, or like twist and shout, then they do the scream. It's it's just classic. It's almost rock elements now in this track. So you can really see that they're really influenced by a lot of different people. And it's very cool to see. I think that's the case with a lot of modern tracks, is because we have so much music to draw from. It's all just getting cross-pollinated. And yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, let's see what else happens.
Smooth like a mat, float like a butterfly on every single track. And the only language that I speak, girl, is back. So once I give this game to you, I can't take it back. Hollering at you from a 1977 Monte Carlo.
Okay. Obviously, Anderson .Paak's now in it. And so that's like the introduction of the new instrument. It's his voice is very unique, and he's now the new singer. So that's the new point of interest. If you notice just then as well, the sub bass came in just for a little bit, just to kind of widen it out at the end of that verse, then just to add a little bit more energy, and then it pulls it back out again. I'll just play it again.
So once I get this track, and the only language that I speak, girl, is
Sub-bass.
So once I get this game to you, I can't take it back. Hollering at you from a 1977 Monte Carlo. Hard act to follow. It's showtime, trying to boo you up like it's the Apollo. Your walk is vicious. Let's get down to business. You and me together. Woo, that's something different. Ooh, come on. I don't ask for much. I really don't, girl. I just want what's fair. Look here. I'll bring that fire and desire, baby. All you gotta do is this. All you gotta do is meet me halfway there. Bring that fire and desire, baby.
Yeah.
All you gotta do.
Yeah, there's definitely more like ride, cymbals, all that sort of stuff. So especially in modern tracks, I notice Max Martin does this a lot, is they'll each section of the song as it goes from intro all the way to the ending, a very subtle way to add more energy, especially if you've got a beat like this that repeats the core foundation of it over and over again, is you slowly just add like one or more, like one each section of like a higher end percussion or a counter percussion instrument, and it'll just add a little bit more energy, a little bit more interest as the song progresses. And it will just, it's very subtle, but it will feel like the song is remaining interesting. So rather than just having the same beat all the way through, this just in a very subtle way adding a little bit more with each section as the song progresses.
All you gotta do is meet me halfway there. I deserve to be.
And as you can see, a lot of their hooks that they've introduced, they're now repeating. So you had the ooh thing again at the end of that pre-chorus, which was the same as the other one. So they've introduced these hooks, even if they only happen like twice, 3 times in the song, still considered a hook, because that's something that the audience will remember, something that they would want to sing along with, especially if they're dancing to this. So you can see the hooks are starting to stack. Some of them are more hidden and the audience wouldn't even notice it. But as it progresses, that's it's the repurposing principle. It's remembering what you've used before and then using it again, using it in new ways.
It's me, somebody this fly, and you deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me, somebody this fly. Now for real, I'm gonna need y'all to understand.
Again, the scream transition. You've also got what I found interesting about this is that they haven't actually got harmonies, I don't think, in the chorus, like in terms of their vocal harmonies. It's mainly just octave stacks and stereo and pack stacks. So they haven't actually done vocal harmonies in this chorus, I think. But correct me if I'm wrong.
If you don't know what we talking about, I may have the whole band help me spell it.
Yeah, definitely. Like you can definitely hear the bass is an integral instrument in this track, especially for fills, transitions, all of that stuff to create that movement. But then to create more of the energy as well, they always have that sub bass either doing the sustain and stuff like that. So the key thing that you want to take away from this is that sub bass and regular bass that's a little bit octave higher they can play different things at the same time, and you can still pull it off. Like the sub bass doesn't have to always play the same thing as the top bass. And yeah, they've really done this well in this track. They've really nailed that technique, that method.
Yeah, if you don't know what we talking about, concert session, here's your lesson. Help me spell it out. F-L-Y. You ain't never seen nobody this fly. It's like we back in school again. Now come on, children, I'm spelling F-L-Y.
Okay. Like so many things they're using here. Call and response. You've got this time it's the lead vocal and the pack vocals doing the call and response. You've got the sub bass is really heavy in this section, so they're really trying to open up the energy here.
Help me spell it out. Yeah.
And they're trying to differentiate this section a lot, but from the other sections.
Try to understand. Let's get it. Man, somebody this fly. Now for real, I'ma need y'all to understand.
Okay, that was a bit of a bass slide there, like that, which is very cool.
Let's get it. If you don't know what we talking about, I may have the whole band help me.
It was interesting because at the end of that section, you thought they were going to go ooh again with the pack vocals, but it was just the tom this time. So it they actually removed that hook before this section, but they kept the percussive element of that hook in it just before this section. And to me, that's almost like them saying, we're going to get back to that soon, but this is a whole new path that we're going down now, just temporarily, and then they go back. So it's interesting that they opted to take that out of this before this section.
Yeah, if you don't know what we talking about, concert session, here's your lesson. Help me spell it out.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah. It's all about the expectations. I mean, I think it's especially with the audience, humans, they want familiarity, but then you also want to play to their expectations. So you want things to kind of like be what they think is going to happen, but then a lot of the time play around with that just so they keep interested as well. Because if it's too predictable, then they'll zone out, but then you can play with that just like how they have. And if you've noticed in this section, the bass line is sustained on one root note. And this is almost like the Beatles' twist and shout effect. It's like in Twist and Shout when they do the sustained seventh chord, and it's like like that, just keeps holding that. Same principle applying here, even though it's a completely different genre, this one, but they're sustaining a single root note, and it's creating that anticipation because you're like, oh, where's it moving? Like, when's it going to move to what I'm used to? And I think it's actually the harmony that differentiates this section, because it just sustains. There's no movement anywhere. So it's just like that.
I'ma need y'all to understand. Let's get it. If you don't know what we talking about, I'ma have the whole band help me spell it out. Yeah, if you don't know what we talking about, concert session, here's your lesson. Help me spell it out.
And if you notice there, you've got the brass instruments doing little fills after the vocal is done singing. So after each phrase, the brass go da-da, da-da. It's very Quincy Jones-like technique there. He uses that a lot in Michael Jackson stuff.
You ain't never seen nobody this fly. It's like we back in school again. Now come on, children, I'm spelling F-L-Y. You ain't never seen nobody this fly. And I'm gone. I deserve.
I would consider this part the bridge, or the yeah, I'd consider this part the bridge, because it's the section that's like different to everything else, because we haven't heard this section before, and it only happens once in the entire song. Or like the middle eight, if some people call it like a middle eight or something like that. I would consider that probably like a bridge.
Yeah, if you don't know what we talking about, concert session, here's your lesson. Help me spell it out.
And another thing that they've done here is because there is elements of the chorus in it, so they're playing with that chorus hook. But what's interesting is that he's actually doing it in a way where he's making it more interactive with the audience. So he's getting them to spell out fly. And he literally says to the audience, spell it out for me, like fly. So they're introducing elements of that lead hook from the chorus in this section, but then they're making it a totally different section.
We back in school again. Now come on, children, don't spell it out. Why? You ain't never seen nobody this fly. And I'm gone. I deserve.
Very cool.
Don't know what we talking about. Concert session, here's your lesson. Help me spell it out. Why? You ain't never seen nobody this fly. It's like we back in school again. Now come on, children, don't spell it out. Why? You ain't never seen nobody this fly.
You can definitely hear the cowbell in this section a lot more prominently. And yeah, the percussive elements in this section definitely pick up because it's mostly the sub bass and the vocal in this section. The percussion really fills out that middle spectrum, higher end spectrum of the frequency spectrum. So they're almost compensating for that, like because all the other instruments are out now, more percussive instruments, but then when they do the pad sections, when the fly like as me comes back in, it brings those elements back just temporarily, just teases you a little bit and then pulls it back out again. So they're playing with the energy, they're playing with hooks, playing with expectations and anticipation. And then sure enough, they do the thing at the end of this section. Like now they've brought back that hook because they're about to enter back into the chorus again. So that's almost like telling the audience, training the audience in a way. When that comes in, the audience is like, okay, when I hear that sound, that's when the chorus is about to start. They've trained the audience at this point. It's amazing. As you can tell, this is a drop chorus. So playing with expectations again. Everyone thinks it's going to be this nice beat coming back in again, but they've pulled out the drums, the main drum beat and the main riff. I deserve to be with somebody else. Now it's just the claps and the tambourine hit, vocals, and you've got like a sustained ad-lib type vocal. So this is something that I know Max Martin does a lot, where he starts to add in ad-libs as the track progresses with each section. More and more ad-libs will start to come in, and then by the final chorus, it's ad-lib city. Invert the bass line by moving it downwards and making it smoother. And I'm gone. I deserve to be with somebody else. Me. Yeah, so they're doing a like a chromatic bass line downwards, but it's so high up in the register that it doesn't even really sound like a bass. It almost sounds like a guitar. It's just dun 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 like that. They really do. They control the energy so well in this song. It's actually unbelievable. Yeah, it's really impressive. This is like a masterclass in creating a funky track with energy. But if you notice, it's actually like when you really pull it back to its raw like elements, it's like it's really a play between the rhythmic sections and the pad sections, and knowing when and where to use those. Like if you look at it from a big picture lens, that's literally all they're doing through this whole track is where can we put the pads, where can we put the beat, and then let's put that across the whole song, and then let's use the different frequency spectrums to widen the energy when we need to. They're almost going like this constantly. It's like boom, 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 like that. It's so cool.
Somebody this fly, and you deserve to be seen. Somebody as fly as me. Somebody this fly. Oh, ain't no bad. Somebody this fly. Yeah. And I'm looking for somebody this fly. I can't help it. I want it all. Still Sonic, let me get the 3 beats in a biscuit. I deserve to be with somebody.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this whole end section of this song is actually like different harmony. They've actually moved the harmony to a whole new place, it feels like. And then they revert back to it at the very end, but they don't go back into the original chorus with the beat again.
It's me, somebody this fly, and you deserve to be.
So it almost brings this whole new vibe. They've got the same vocal melody, but just with that subtle shift of harmonic choices and taking that beat out and that main riff, it's created this whole new vibe. Like you could play that section probably on a piano with that harmony and it would almost sound like a ballad at this point. Like you could play that harmony section in this one and sing the song like that and it would sound like a ballad.
Somebody as fly as me, somebody this fly. Oh, ain't no bad.
Boom. And then he even says, now I'm back. So they've used that harmonic difference. Yeah, it really is. So Marina reckons, so she said the original is more a blues chord and then it turns more pop. Yeah, it really does. It really does. And that's probably why, like, it feels like it could just be a ballad at that point. And then when they revert back, it has got more of that sort of edge.
With somebody as me, somebody this fly, and you deserve to be seen. Somebody as fly as me, somebody this fly. Oh, ain't no bad. Somebody this fly. Yeah. And I'm looking for somebody this fly. I can't help it. I want it all. Still Sonic, let me get the 3 beats in a biscuit.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, it's way more drums in that section, way more like drum soloing, just to really top it off because there's less middle instruments in that section. But you do have those brass instruments doing those pad swells again, which is really cool. So they're still maintaining some of that those original hooks, but
Ain't no bad to be seen. Somebody as fly as me.
and you've got Bruno Mars really flying high now with his vocals, doing ad libs that are really impressive. Really showing off his vocal performance now, and
This fly. Oh, ain't no bad. Somebody this fly. Yeah. And I'm looking for somebody this fly. I can't help it. I want it all. Still Sonic, let me get the.
there's almost a high end synth pad sound there as well that's been added in right at the end, just to add that like wall of sound right at the end. And the bass line, the bass guitarist for this track would be having a great time doing all those fills and riffs like that. But
Beats in a biscuit.
and then obviously they end the song with that dun dun dun, that same hooky introduction type piece, like you're about to introduce the royal family, but right at that part, the track stops. So that what that does is that actually makes you want to listen to the song again, because you're trained at this point. The audience is trained. I'm trained to recognize that brass hit as the calling point, like the signal, like this is the chorus about to happen. So my body's like, oh yeah, the chorus is going to be another one. And then it ends. And then I'm like, oh, damn. Well, I guess I have to listen to it again now because I'm not going to be able to hear it again because the song's over. So it's actually training the audience to want to listen to the song again. Yeah, it really is. It's like the Pavlov technique. It's literally like that. So, wow. Okay. We've definitely learned a lot in this one. And I'll probably need to I need to get this transcribed and then actually have the techniques written down, something like that. But I'm sure we'll remember them. What do you reckon we should do now? Like we can call it there because that was phenomenal. Like I learned a lot from this track. What did you all think of that? Thank you. Yeah, I mean it was that's awesome. I was hoping that this sort of setup would work. Um, this is the first time that I've ever analyzed a song in front of anyone before. So usually I would do it and then I would upload it as a YouTube video. But I think that having this community aspect is really cool because then everyone can chime in and give their what they're hearing as well, give their techniques that they're finding. Because I miss stuff and yeah, um, but oh okay, awesome. Um, yeah, I mean, I can definitely set up a something like that. What I was actually thinking of doing in the future was creating because I'll be doing one of probably one or two of these a week for free, and then what I was thinking of doing is maybe making a like a membership thing, like a pro version where I do these. Say like I do a free one once a week for people who want to check it out and get one for free, and then I'll probably end up doing like two or three more a week, and the people who do the paying membership will then be able to get access to more of these live sessions every week, and it'll be like $20 a month or something like that's just an idea I came up with. I don't know whether that would be something that you'd be interested in at all, um but yeah, I can also make up a donation thing. But at the moment I'll keep one a week for free, and then oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, yeah, well, so yeah, I mean, I don't know when I'll start that. But thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I'll pretty much I'll do with the paid membership version. I'll be definitely doing like multiple ones a week, and because it's a paid membership as well, there'll probably be like as this gets more popular. So as more and more people start to come to the free version of this, um, it might become like too like the chat thread might become too drowned out by people talking and stuff like that. So the paid version will be more for people who want to go like deeper into this and have more of them. And I think there'll also be that accountability aspect as well. So everyone's showing up every day to get their analysis in, just for like an hour a day. You get your analysis in, and then you learn from me, you learn from the community and everyone else. And yeah, it's a way for everyone to bond through music production analysis and yeah, and get their skills up. So that's awesome. Well, thanks for coming along. This is the first music production analysis session. So I'm stoked that it was valuable and had value to everyone that came. So thanks to you guys who came, Glenn, Marina, Matt. Um, I'll be doing this Monday nights for the time being, and then on Thursday, I'll be doing a classic analysis at about 8 a.m. AEST. And then I think when the pro membership comes in, I'll start to do them pretty much every day. And then the free one will only be once a week. So yeah, I'll keep it up. But if you haven't already, definitely go check out the Polymath Producer System, and that'll hone your ability to do music production analysis and get more and more out of it. So thanks for everyone who came. This has been a lot of fun. I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing these live. I think it's way more fun doing them live. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier. Yeah, definitely. I think that'll be definitely part of um as things progress. Like I think suggesting songs would be definitely something that would be part of it. So if you've got suggestions, DM me on school or and stuff like that, and I'll add them to like a master list, and we can go through them. But because there's going to be a lot of analysis sessions to come. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming to this first one. And should I call you Matthew or Matt? Or what are you good with? Okay, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming along, and I'll yeah, I'll be here again Thursday. Classic analysis. So we'll be looking at one from between 1950 to 2010, that kind of era. More of like a classic track. So awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.